The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars. The fault in our stars. I think I heard it before. Didn't I? Hello, my name is Lena, and welcome to my channel. And I'd like to start with a question. Have you ever seen TV movies Sharp Rifles with Sean Bean? Sean Bean plays a sergeant in British Army, but he saves the life of Lord Wellington, and he is raised from the ranks, and he is made a lieutenant, which is not such a good idea because it brings a lot of problems and a lot of troubles. Because at that time you couldn't be an officer in British Army and be a lowborn. You need to be a gentleman to be accepted among other officers. But Sharp, he has a good friend, Patrick Harper, who says Patrick Harper is the person who says that there are two kinds of officers: killing officers and murdering officers. Killing officers are the officers who get you killed by mistake, but murdering officers are the officers who get you killed for a purpose, for an idea. For example, for common good, like in Julius Caesar, the tragedy by William Shakespeare. In short, apart from the fact that murder is a bad thing, a murder for an idea is, in my opinion, much worse. And in short, in Julius Caesar, we have a group of high-positioned noble-born Roman citizens who decide to kill Caesar because they are afraid that he is going to obtain the crown, that he is going to be a king, that common people will pronounce him their king. And at that time, Rome is a Roman republic. So they are basically all free, and they can consider themselves as equals. For example, if you are a very poor Roman citizen, you are still not a slave, and you are a Roman citizen. So you can plenty of things to be proud of and plenty of things to be happy about. And they so they decide to kill a person for the crime this person hasn't committed yet. So they decide to make this preventive killing and consider it a noble deed. It didn't work out for them. So they kill Caesar, which leads to civil war, which leads to bloodshed and a lot of death, which in the end leads to the death of the most of the conspirators themselves, and which leads to the end of Roman Republic and to the birth of Roman Empire. So they failed dramatically. This noble murder of Caesar hasn't actually changed anything, and it probably prompted the things they were afraid of. And it's very interesting question and very interesting moral dilemma. So another very interesting moral dilemma is Mark Antony's behavior. Half of the conspirators want to kill Mark Antony with after or before they kill Julius Caesar, because because Mark Antony is very fond of Caesar and he can make trouble. But Brutus, he is very opposed to this murder, because he does not consider the murder for common good. He considered just unnecessary murder. He doesn't really believe that Mark Antony can steer enough trouble for them. So he spares Mark Antony's life, and as I understand it, he kind of makes Mark Antony promise that he won't steer, he wouldn't steer the crowd, the common people, against the conspirators. And as I understand it, Mark Antony gives this promise, and he shakes hands with all the conspirators to save his own life. But he cannot forgive them the murder of Caesar, and he cannot betray Caesar. So, as a result, he does turn the crowd against the conspirators, and he teams up with Caesar's heir, Octavius, and he makes war against the conspirators. And at the end of the play, he and Octavius, I'm sorry, they defeat the conspirators. Guys, it's my first attempt to make this video. I'm sorry if I mispronouncing words and using them incorrectly. I just cannot talk today. So this very interesting moral dilemma. It turns out that this noble deed of Brutus, this saving life of Mark Antony, leads to the death of Brutus' wife, leads to the death of Brutus himself, and leads to the end of Roman Republic and to the birth of Roman Empire. So they really failed dramatically. And I am afraid that this lesson, this murder for the common good, this this very big lesson, it kind of something that nobody remembers, although everybody remember play. I think nobody remembers the lesson that there are no such thing as a noble murder for a common good, and that there is no good can come of it. Well, I like this play very much. I think it will stick with me for maybe for good. And I like to tell that I starting to like female characters, Shakespeare's female characters more and more. I like Portia very much. So thank you for watching. Goodbye and happy reading.